Hello and welcome. I am Eunice Kang. I'm Assistant Professor of Political Science and International Relations at Vanguard University. Today I'm joined by Lia Hansen. She's Associate Professor of Theater Arts. Her area is costume and makeup design and theater history. And today we are talking about the political fashion of Sanae Takaichi, Japan's first female prime minister. So excited for this talk. Just real quick, before we get into analyzing her fashion choices and what kind of image she's trying to project, this was a historic election. Last year, October 21st, 2025, Sanae Takaichi was elected as Japan's first female prime minister. She is 65 years old. She is married and is a stepmother with no biological children of her own, but children through her husband. And her political party affiliation is the Liberal Democratic Party, the LDP, which is known to be a center-right conservative party. Why did she win? Well, she was known to be a workaholic, and you can see in the caption there that she quotes, "I will abandon the idea of a work-life balance, and that I will work, 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 and work." So she was very popular because of her work, work, work brand, known to be a workaholic, and I think that resonated with young people. I think we're going to get into analyzing her political fashion at the following sort of big moments and events and meetings. So she wins the prime minister election on October 21st, 2025. And then she was formally appointed by the Japanese emperor in a ceremony the same day. So we'll have pictures of that. And on October 28th, a week later, she hosts the US President Trump in Tokyo to bring US and Japan relations to a golden age. And on March 19, 2026, she visits Washington, D.C. and is hosted by Trump. So here we go. This is the moment where she wins Japan's election for the prime minister. Leah, what do you think?
Well, I'm noticing that everyone is wearing blue or a navy blue. We have some lighter blues. And so that's telling us that it's the uniform of the Japanese parliament. You see a similar thing in banking in England. Everyone wears pretty much a pinstripe suit, and that identifies them as that. And any variety comes from shirts and ties. And even the ties here all tend to fall kind of in a fairly plain, small patterned. The one gentleman on the
right.
he's got kind of a fancy tie there, and he also has cufflinks. So he's and I see some cufflinks on other people. We notice that all of them are wearing the chrysanthemum pin, and that's a badge of being part of the
national diet.
Yeah, the national diet. And she has an additional pin that she wears in all of her photos, which has to do with her stance against the North Koreans.
That's right.
And capturing or kidnapping Japanese
nationals. Yes, that's right. The abduction
point.
issue with North Koreans, they abducted Japanese in the 70s and 80s. So she's still trying to bring them home.
And one of the things that you notice that a man's suit has that V down the front when it's buttoned. And we'll see that in all of her blazer dress outfits. This could be a dress or it could be a camisole and a skirt. It's hard to tell. But she's also very simple in the additional jewelry that she's wearing. It's enough to make the ensemble look put together, but not enough to draw attention. And I don't know if Japan has like a national rock or stone or national gem like some states do here, but I associate pearls with Japan as well, with the pearl divers and Mikimoto pearls.
Oh, right.
And so, those could be beads without seeing them. It's hard to tell. They're giving a pearl look, but they're pretty big pearls. So they're pretty expensive pearls. So, but it's also just bringing that to mind.
Okay,
that
sounds
concept.
great. And here she is heading to the Imperial Palace after she got elected, heading to the Imperial Palace to participate in a formal appointment ceremony by the emperor. Do you mind talking a bit about her outfit here?
I see that she has a more the fabric on the jacket is fancier. It's more detailed. It has, even though the other blue one had a high sheen, this has a pattern woven into it, which could bring or kind of relate or harken back to kimono, where it's all embroidered. And we were talking earlier, the kimono also has a V neckline, even though it's much higher. And so she may be just relating back to that aspect of it. And she still has her pins, and then the rest of the gown is neutral. So and with the pearls, she's really keeping the focus up around her head and face.
Oh, that's right.
And especially, her hair is dark, the jacket is dark, the dress is dark. So her face becomes the lightest part.
That's right. Yeah. And here she is in the meeting, the emperor, and it looks like a pretty, obviously the emperor is appointing her, but really it's traditional, and he can't really say no. So it's just a process that they have to go through. Here's another picture. Looks like she's either handing or receiving papers. After the meeting with the emperor, she is speaking in front of reporters during her first press conference. You can see her pin better in this angle.
Yes, you can. The blue wave and the chrysanthemum pin for the diet. And, I think those might be, it's hard to tell if those are pearls or beads.
Mm. And she's wearing pearl earrings as well to
It
match.
looks like it's a match set, which also could speak to it's a display of wealth, but it's not ostentatious.
Yes.
And so
And it's classy.
and it's very classy,
Yes.
as opposed to something that had lots of sparkle and a lot of color and things like that is less
This looks like
classy.
an official portrait of her in the Liberal Democratic Party leader's chair.
I'm assuming this is a blazer and dress ensemble since the colors are identical.
Okay.
And she's also added a pocket square to her blazer, which is another masculine touch that you can add to increase your status and project a stronger image by having a more masculine look. And I think one of the things that women have to navigate is how far toward a masculine look they go, because it can be perceived as threatening in some instances. Yet if you become too feminine in your dress, then it kind of talks like you're at a party and you're not serious about what you're doing.
Right. So you have to strike that right balance.
Yes.
And her posture is quite interesting. She has her hand over her other hand. Her legs are not crossed, bent to the side.
Yes, they're very much finishing school pose. My daughter went to finishing school at a little place around here, and that was one of the things that they taught them.
Really?
Yes, ladies do not cross their legs.
Uh-huh.
At the most, you might cross your ankles, but how she's sitting is the sign of a cultured woman, because if your skirt's too short and you cross your legs, you might have a wardrobe malfunction or expose more than you intended.
Right. And to make sure for this picture, you have to make sure that the skirt is below the knees.
Right.
Otherwise,
yeah.
Yeah.
And having your hands in your lap like that also helps keep the skirt in between the thighs so that there's, wasn't it Britney Spears who got out of a car?
Oh, yes. I think I do remember that. Okay, and a week after she's elected, she hosts the U.S. President Trump in Japan. Here they are at the looks like their meeting. Whereas with the flags in the background, but she's hosting him in Japan for this one. Later she goes, in March after October, in March 2026, where he invites her to the White House. But here she's welcoming him here in Japan.
So we see her kind of signature look of blazer over a dress of either the same color or a complementing color. The gray dress is matching the piping on the pockets and probably around the lapels. I can't really tell, but I can see, looks like it's on the pockets unless it's shadow. What's interesting is she isn't wearing blue in this, and that could be because she knows Trump is always wearing blue, or someone said the president's going to be wearing blue, so don't. Which may be why they've put her behind the flag behind her, because the American flag, because she's kind of fading into, if she was standing in between them, she'd sort of be fading into the doorway.
Oh.
Because the colors are too close. So it's kind of odd that they're off center like that, unless it was intentional for Trump to be in front of a Japanese flag and her to be in front of an American flag.
Oh, interesting.
To demonstrate, political friendliness.
Okay. And here they are at a Japanese state guest house at the Akasaka Palace. And they are, well, in this picture, there's a ceremony going on, I think to honor the visit from Trump. But here's a close-up on her outfit.
So it seems to be a very similar fabric to the one she wore to her the formal dinner after her appointment and to the appointment ceremony. Again, it has that texture in it, which creates a little bit of play of highlight and shadow, and also is considered dressier than an everyday work blazer.
You can see a better picture of
yeah, I think it does have
her
piping.
pins.
Yes, and those are pearls, I think. I'm going with those are pearls.
Okay. All right.
It's interesting how Western the palace is.
Yes, that's right.
Very broke. Was it built around the time when the Western influence really was hitting Japan and the emperor was trying to Westernize?
I feel like that would be,
It
you
seems,
know, a lot of Western, yeah, influence in Japan. Whereas China and Korea, they rejected Western influences. Japan really embraced it, and that's why they became a imperial power. Really, they quickly learned, adapted, and started taking over neighboring countries during the imperialism era. But here they are. They moved over to the U.S. Navy base located in Yokosuka, Japan. It looks like she had an outfit change.
does she is wearing pants here and looks like more low-heeled shoes, which could be appropriate for, yes, low-heeled shoes, which could be appropriate for the environment
Mm.
where she is. We've probably all seen someone who's at a garden wedding in spike heels and is continually getting stuck in the lawn if they haven't judged their environment. And so she's very much aware of where she is
Yes.
and has a more neutral.
Mm.
I'm assuming, there's probably wind and other things there that could make a skirt more problematic.
That's right. Um, uh, in January 2026, so earlier this year, it looks like the South Korean president, Lee Jae-myung, came to Japan and they are playing drums together as a show of friendship between the two nations.
Do you know what it says on their windbreakers?
I do not know. You know what? It looks like it's their names. Lee Jae-myung, I can see clearly. And
Oh, okay.
maybe, and I see Sanae right there. So, and I see the big T. So I think it's their names
So are they
embroidered on there.
for their band? No.
And this is not just a random photo op of her sitting in front of the drums, but she apparently played drums at her university band.
And even there you can see the bangs are still there.
Mm.
So that's something she's carried over. And her earrings are simple. They're not more like flashy or
Yeah.
big. Even though I think they're hoops and she has
Her choice for instruments is different too. It's not piano, it's not the flute, it's the drums.
there's a lot of energy.
There is a lot of
And
energy.
and actually I have heard that drums sometimes they form, the baseline beat for the entire band. They're the ones who are keeping
Oh.
everybody on together,
Uh-huh.
and on time. And so it has that kind of power.
Yeah. And then the
And
Japanese, they have a very traditional like a culture of drumming.
yes,
Yes. So all right. And last month, March 19, 2026, she was invited by Trump to for a bilateral meeting. And here they are at the White House. Uh, so I think this is their meeting. I think she got out of the car. Here they are in the White
and
House.
her suit again has more texture and is more of a brocade. So it seems that as prime minister, she's wearing fabrics that are more detailed and
Mm,
have more visual interest in them.
mm,
And it could be for photo opportunities because she's being photographed more.
hmm. Yeah.
And also embellished fabrics, brocades and things are a Japanese tradition.
Yeah.
So while they're
As a costume designer, what kind of image is she projecting with these specific colors in a room full of men?
in a room full of men, all wearing blue. Um, Blue is kind of can be kind of a power color,
Hmm.
but it can also, be dignity and those types of things. It's the color we associate with businessmen.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, is that Pete Hegoff?
Yes.
And he's in gray, so I don't know what that says about him. He's out there, not with everybody else. But the diagonal line that's created is by the front, the way her blazer closes
Hmm.
is a line. It's a dynamic line.
Hmm.
It's not static,
Okay.
and it has energy behind it,
Mm.
and can stand for power as verticality. And she creates a very vertical image because she's all one color generally.
Hmm.
I don't know how tall she is,
Mm.
um, and she could be adding weight
Hmm.
to her image by having a single color.
Oh, I
It
see.
tends to add more weight
Oh,
because
does
it's
it?
all, you're not breaking things up. Kind of depends on where you put things, and lighter tops, darker bottoms can seem more grounded. But if she's all one piece, she's
Mm.
solid,
Hmm.
and it
Mm.
just gives her a little more visual
And I think later in the
weight.
evening, they move over to a state dinner when she's delivering remarks here. Here's a better picture of what she what she's wearing for the evening.
And she has changed her pearls
Oh, she did.
to a different look, and it's one of the few V-necks I've seen in any of the images. Most of them are horizontal
Mm-hmm.
across the front, which exposes less of her her chest area, which could be seen as more appropriate for business.
Okay.
And so here's more of a party scene, and her fabric is shiny.
Oh, looks like she's ready for a party in this.
I know, yes, there she goes. I feel like she should have a smaller handbag, though.
Interesting.
More like an evening bag.
And we'll talk about her handbag a little bit later because some of the handbags that she carries, they sell out quickly in Japan, apparently. So, well, here's her bag. This is a bag that she carries and it's gone viral. And it's made by a 145-year-old local leather goods maker called Hamanos. And this particular bag that she carries is called the Grace Delight Tote Bag. In terms of size, do you think this is more appropriate? It looks like it'll carry 8.5 by 11 size paper and, perhaps
A laptop or tablet.
laptop and
I think it's like it's like a feminized briefcase.
that's right.
So it has that look to it, especially with the buckle that comes over. If you think of a briefcase in terms of like what lawyers would carry, the original meaning a briefcase as opposed to the sleeker attaches. So it has more of that briefcasey look. This is not meant to carry that much. I'm not sure.
I went back to this picture because I was wondering, as a costume designer, what bag would you have recommended instead?
Probably a dark bag, for one thing, because in theater, the visual should not be about the bag, unless the murder weapon is going to be in there and we need to see it, unless the bag's really, really important, because your eye is attracted to light things, and so the audience's eye is going to want to follow her purse.
Oh, I see.
And it's probably not a play about her purse, most likely. And I can understand why she has the strap. She probably has to shake a lot of hands and things, but a lot of times you'll find evening bags either have just like a wrist, they're small, and they'll have a wrist strap, or they'll have a very thin shoulder strap that you can, put on. And they usually don't have to carry very much.
Okay.
I hear the Queen of England used to only have like a lipstick and a hanky. She didn't even carry money. So
she had aides to do that.
Yeah, she had aides to do that.
And I found some pictures of her fashion prior to her becoming the prime minister. Here she is in 2019 in a full-length dress.
See, she has a little evening bag.
And here is another picture of her in 2024. This is before she became prime minister. And you can see that she's more colorful, it looks like.
Yeah, she's more colorful. The jewelry isn't as
pearls, no?
It could be, but it's like a single pearl.
Okay.
But it's still her same style with the blazer over the dress.
Okay. And here are the following unknown dates of her political fashion that I was able to. She's not in a blue blazer.
The dress
is blue.
I think so, looking at the purse up against the dress. But notice how in the two tones, she doesn't kind of have as much visual weight. It's kind of chopped up.
Ah, I see what you mean. Here's another photo. Another one. This was in front of a photo of her in front of the prime minister's office in Tokyo.
And that is probably and this is probably a skirt and blouse underneath the blazer. And the camisole has more decoration on it than any of the other dresses. And she is not wearing her pearls. Just it looks like very small earrings. Putting the focus there. Yeah, it's got a nice pattern in it.
I think overall, it looks like she has a penchant for blue. She loves blazers. A lot of horizontal camis underneath the blazer.
Yeah, or the neckline of the dress is horizontal. And I think it's a way to both have enough femininity while still making a power statement, with the jacket and the blazer, which is considered a suit. Sometimes the term is suit dress, if they have both.
Yeah. I think Hillary Clinton, she was known to have like a certain style, like the pantsuit.
Yeah.
She popularized the pantsuit. And for Takaichi, what do you think her iconic sort of like look is so far? I know it's been a couple months in based on the pictures.
It looks like it's the blazer over a dress. When my sister-in-law sold pharmaceuticals, she had a number of ensembles that were very similar, where the dress and the blazer were the same fabric, and she would wear that because she's trying to project a business like, I know what I'm doing. I know about these drugs, And so I'm assuming she's saying the same thing. I know what the country needs. I know how to negotiate, I know how to talk with people. I know how to get this job done.
Yeah. Do you think overall she's succeeding in her personal branding of herself as a workaholic? I mean,
I think she's succeeding in a branding of business. I'm here to do business.
okay.
And I think it's sort of when you go, if anyone still goes into the bank, when they're wearing suits in the bank, it just makes you feel like your money is more secure than when they're wearing polo shirts. Like they really know what they're doing when they have a suit on. And so I think that's what she's really trying to say, is that I know what I'm doing.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Leah, for
You're
this
welcome.
time.
Glad to come and chat. Always enjoy it.